But it's a church that, again, very, very easy to walk past, to not necessarily even notice that it's there, because partly because when we look at St Helen's, it is kind of offline to the street. It is a kind of product of an early, so we're going to sort of pop backwards, and then you'll hopefully get more of a vista, because it's quite tall and you have to go quite way back to sort of take it all in. And hopefully we're going to find Reverend Liz inside and have the final of our conversations with her this year, as we look at the Church of St Helen on Stonegate. And there she is, so we can spot Rev Liz. Hello there. It feels like only yesterday.
It does feel like only yesterday. Yeah.
So for those that went on yesterday, this is the Reverend Liz Hassel. We've only got one mic between the stakes. One's failed, so we're going to share it. Who very kindly yesterday showed us around 3 of your churches. Today is the 4th. Mm-hmm. So what do you just tell us where we are?
We are in St Helen's, which is on St Helen's Square at the end of Stonegate. And this is a church that's right in the centre of the shopping area.
It is very central indeed, isn't it, this one? Yeah.
So when we have services here, we always see hundreds of people walking past outside. If you come and stand in the middle and look back down the aisle.
Church, this one,
we do services for the shoppers, particularly at Christmas. Yeah. But yeah, if you stand here, you're standing sort of in front of the altar, and all you can see when you look outside is the world and his wife walking by. So it gives a really interesting perspective on it.
And what do you think of the buskers? Because obviously these days you just get very loud buskers in the square.
Well, there's a bylaw which means that the buskers are not allowed to busk while there's a service on.
Okay.
So we try and be friendly with them,
yes.
And we have agreements with most of the regulars, and we just let them know when the service is, and that's not a problem.
Yeah. It's very loud. So this is perhaps the smallest then, isn't it, of the church that we visited this weekend?
It is, yes.
But
yes.
I believe it's actually been reduced in size, is that correct?
Yeah, it's well, like all the churches really, it's been knocked about a bit and had things added to it and taken away. It's largely a Victorian rebuild, this one, but on a site where there has been a church for a very long time indeed.
Because when you look at the sort of sight line, it's not orientated with the streets, is it? It's kind of it's reflective of the older street pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm right, sort of where Stonegate starts there, the church went across, but obviously at a different angle to where the corner is now.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the old maps, so I don't know.
So it looks sort of cut off, doesn't it? When you look at it from the front, it looks like a bit like Martin the Grand, an incomplete church.
Yeah.
But a beautiful altar.
Yes, it's a nice place to preside at, and you've got the 4 evangelists in the window up there.
Yep.
Just similar to if you remember those who were here yesterday, you saw the tiles at St Dennis. Again, we have the 4 evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, each with their symbolic creature underneath them. And then scenes from the life of Jesus above. So yeah. That's...
So just right. So what are these? So starting with St Luke, what is his?
St Luke's the sort of the 3rd from the left, and that's usually an ox, although it appears to be a goat here.
Yeah, it does look, yeah.
And St John on the far right, that's an eagle.
That's an eagle, is it? Yeah, okay.
I think so. On the far left, St Matthew is a person, a man.
Okay.
And then I think Mark is a lion.
He's a lion. Okay, so those are signifiers of the apostles.
Yeah, they're just the evangelists.
The evangelists, sorry. The
evangelists, the people who wrote the Gospels.
Yeah. And of course, the Lamb's Jesus, isn't he? Is that right? Yeah. And again, I'm guessing that's Victorian glass by those wonderful kind of radiant colours written 20th century.
Looks like it, yeah.
So really, it's a simple presentation, this altar, isn't it? Compared to some of the ones we've seen, it's simple but stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I'm just going to
step
step back a little bit just to kind of capture the whole of that. It really does trip over it. It really works beautifully.
And if you can see over on the left-hand side, you've got the candle burning to show that we reserve the sacrament here. So that's candle stays lit all the time. It's about a 7 to 8 day candle. We change it every Saturday.
Okay.
And the bread and wine is reserved in the aumbrey below, which is the little cupboard that's set aside for that.
Oh, okay. So that candle is signifying that
Yeah,
element of it.
the presence of Jesus. Yeah.
Consecrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not consecrated. Is it what we?
Yeah.
Is it consecrated?
Yeah.
I've never picked that up. And again, the light is really complemented, isn't it, by these and not quite clear glass windows.
Yeah, come and have a look.
Colour,
These I really
they
like
really
these
sort of lighten
windows
the
because
spaces,
they're sort of abstract in pattern. So they're almost a sort of standard diamond pattern, but not quite.
Yeah.
And I can sit and look at them for ages because they're just really interesting. And just gentle colours that flood into the sanctuary.
Yeah, you sort of think you can sort of get a pattern, but then it's not quite there, is it? It's beautiful. It's like a patch of a field. You know, if you sort of see an aerial camera from above, you know, It looks like that, doesn't it? But I love the fact you've got that light coming in either side, because obviously too many of the church, not too many, but a lot are quite dark, aren't they, at this point?
Yeah.
But very simple altar decoration as well, compared to, and is this at all reflective of the where we are? You talked about the high and the low, kind of, you know, not low class Methodist, but you know, in terms of the where you're at on the high.
I mean, this is not as high as St Olive, higher than All Saints Pavement and St Denis, but it's this is what we leave out during the week. We've got some nicer bits and pieces that we use when we've actually got a service here.
Okay, lovely cloth as well, indeed, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, let's just have a look now. If I recall, there's something. Is it above here? There's something up. Is it St Michael with?
Oh, it's over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. Yeah.
So this is an example of recycling again. This is a carving. We think it represents Michael and all angels.
Yeah.
And it's obviously been outside at some point because it's weathered.
Yeah.
We don't know where it's from. We don't know quite how long it's been there. It's a different age to the rest of the pillar.
Yep.
So it's come from somewhere and been put here to because it's a lovely thing. It's of Christian significance.
And he was really in the sort of medieval period was the Catholicism, St Michael, kind of the scales of heaven and so forth. He was a major figure, wasn't he? In understanding.
Yeah.
So.
And particularly about vanquishing evil.
Yeah.
So a lot of churches that are dedicated to St Michael are in places where there's been trouble or there's been a need for particular protection.
So as I understand, St Helen was Constantine's mother.
That's right.
Is there a representation of St Helen within here?
There is.
Either in glass or.
There's two. So the first one is over here, which is an icon. So this is an icon we've got of Constantine and Helena.
Yep.
So that's obviously fairly modern. That's been brought over from probably from Greece.
Yep.
And so that's the first one. That's a little detail that people often miss. And the other one is slightly less subtle, and that's in the stained glass at the back of the church. So here we've got 4 figures in the stained glass at the back there. We think or believe that from left to right, it's St William of York, and then the Virgin Mary, and then Helena, and then Constantine, as far as we know.
And St Helen, she spent a time, didn't she, sort of looking out for the sites of the Holy Land, didn't she?
Yeah. She was sort of the first, one of the first tourists to the Holy Land to go and try and track down and bring the Bible to life,
like
and
a
make
Bible
it
historian,
real.
really, wouldn't she? I suppose really sort of seeking to understand the places and map those out, and then Constantine would come and build temples, wouldn't he, around the
so
sites.
where she decided that the holy sites were most likely to be, she founded churches and so on, and that's where people consider that the sites are now. So she had a really big impact, and she also is said to have discovered the true cross.
Yep.
However much you believe or don't believe in that. And
people did.
People did.
Yeah.
And although there are a huge number of fragments of the true cross dotted across Europe and the Middle East.
But honestly, if we think about the contribution, obviously, of Constantine with Easter and Christmas and the first sort of Gospels, and then his mother, that mother-son combo, I mean, they really are architects, aren't they, of the early church?
Yeah.
And of course, this link to York. as well, which is fabulous. Do we know if St Helen ever visited York? Because obviously we
I
know
don't
Constance
know.
here.
I've wondered
Her
about
father
that.
was. His father was.
Would an emperor have brought his mother with him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was here, wasn't he?
When he was proclaimed emperor. Yeah.
And his father had come to see him, but
Yeah.
I don't know of any historical record that says Helen was there as well.
Yeah,
We'd
I don't
hope
know.
so, but we don't know so. So it's a really special space, isn't it? Again, I'm just loving the light. Some micros of M&S. Of course, that was their brand, wasn't it, 20 years ago? Beautiful cross. Is there a special name for when you've got a crucifix hanging down?
It's a crucifix.
Yeah.
I think sometimes call it a rood.
A rood, that's right.
Yeah. It's R-O-O-D.
And there'd be a rood screen sometimes,
Yeah.
wasn't there, in front? Yeah, like
Yeah.
very, very ornate carvings. I wonder if there would have been the one up there in the historic thing here.
There would at some point have been a screen because all churches had them.
Yeah.
But I think because this is mostly a Victorian rebuild, there's absolutely no evidence of where
No.
the screen was, and the chancell's probably in a different place as well now.
They've sort of made it work for them, haven't they, as you
Yeah.
might say? But it's really well done, isn't it? You know, as a conversion to taking an old church and just sort of cut it down and then
Yeah.
shape it for.
And
contemporary
the
purposes.
oldest bit of the church that we're aware of is actually the
Can
font.
you say that looks. Is it Norman?
Yes, it is. It's
Yes.
dated to the 12th century,
Fantastic.
so sometime in the 1100s.
Yep.
Although the earliest references to this church are from 1235.
So again,
it's
we've got this distinctive Romanesque, haven't we, sort of style of Norman architecture. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And the font's always by the door, weren't they? in churches?
usually by the door, yes. It does vary, but generally, yes, the positioning of the font symbolises the fact that it's the first step on your Christian journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, some churches put it in different places.
Can we have a look at the organ?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that the organ pipes over there? Mm-hmm. I suppose these little facial.
Yes,
Maybe I've sort of been noticing them up here, but
there's a whole line of them all the way around the top of the church, and we don't know who the carvings are of,
Yeah.
who they're supposed to signify. I hadn't really noticed them before I was looking today in preparation
I mean,
for meeting you.
The lady up there looks sort of 11th, 12th century. Uh-huh. You know, it could be Empress Matilda or something, but.
Yeah. So this is the organ over here, built in 1959 by J.H. Walker, and still in use weekly. In fact, we had our organ scholar has been playing to entertain the people coming through for York Unlocked today.
Oh, fantastic. So you can more than cope with the buskers, couldn't you, if you chose a volume
If
offer,
you
might say.
pull out all the stops,
Yeah.
literally, then yes, you can make quite a good
And
a good
that's
volume.
the meaning of that sentence, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Is it literally pull out
Yeah,
all
so
the stops?
the stops are these sort of cream-coloured buttons here, and you pull them out, and then the organ sounds louder.
Yeah. So there's almost baffles, aren't they, on the...
Well, it's different rows of pipes. So you can see a few of the different rows here. Now, I'm not an organist. I don't know the technical
There's
details.
some very small, but some incredibly loud.
Yeah.
That's the big, with the big,
Yeah.
hammering chords, isn't it? But again, I love the highlighting of the red there. It's really beautiful. Right, so I don't know. George III dress there?
Yeah, a lot of churches have a royal crest in them, and it's often to show that they were in receipt of the what's called Queen Anne's bounty, which was ensuring that poor churches, the clergy still got paid. I'm not sure whether that's the case here, but that's often.
Lovely colour though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And is it? Oh, this is in Ireland, isn't it? Yeah, it's Celtic Prayer. That's fabulous. Thank you so much again for your. Who's that little chap over there?
Oh, on the
blue
window,
guy.
the blue.
Little
Yes,
blue
I
boy.
do know about that. So,
The old confession, isn't it?
so that is a Blue Coat scholar. And
okay.
there was a Blue Coat school in York. I mean, there isn't now, but
It's at
that's
St Anthony's Hall, wasn't it? Down that.
you could be right,
think
yes.
so.
But from 1705 to 1947, there was a Blue Coat school in York, and that's a that's a representation of a Blue Coat scholar.
And that was, again, charitable, wasn't it, of
Yeah.
helping people from less well-off background. And again, like we were looking at also, it's pavement, the various benefices and gifts.
Operation today. I may be wrong, but not that I'm aware of.
But that was sort of a bit of a challenge, isn't it, when it's in perpetuity, but the sums become so trivial because of inflation.
Yeah.
Do you officially sort of close them down then, as you might say?
I haven't been involved in closing any of them down, but I think my predecessors have had to.
So 40 shillings for a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
£2,
Yeah.
whittled them away. We were in the Medical Society a minute ago, and there was a £470 odd from the 1750s. I think that was a huge sum of money to give over. Anyway, thank you so much for today, for yesterday, and hopefully we'll get these videos up online in a couple of weeks when people can then come in and view them, and we'll also come and talk to you about other stuff.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Bye-bye. Right.